Welcome to our onboard hospitality video slot, a short and sweet video pick-me-up designed to keep the conversations between airlines and suppliers going through these toughest of times and help us all make positive plans for the future. We're Zoom calling key players in our sector, asking them one big question on the future of in-flight service relevant to their area of expertise. And with me today is Marc Warde, chef, celiac and founder of Special Meals Kitchen Libero. Welcome and thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. How have you personally been coping with all the lockdowns and how's that impacted on your business?
Well, as you can imagine, it was quite a change because obviously the airline part of what we do was really however, I'm pleased to say that we are starting to produce for airlines again next week, which is fantastic.
Right.
I'm currently situated in our factory in very sexy Harlow in Essex. We have obviously our retail brand, which has started a bit earlier than we expected, so that's come on board, and demand in retail has grown. And we've picked up some new healthcare contracts we didn't expect, and that's actually become in this whole lockdown a bigger thing. Getting some things done, like some building works and things like that we were having going on here was a bit more challenging, getting contractors to work, that kind of thing. But actually, recruitment-wise, I have never had so many applicants in my whole career. It's been fantastic, and we've got some. I think we've been very lucky in getting some great people as a consequence.
Great. Well, it's always good to talk to you, Marc. You're always positive, which is what we need at these times. And so,
you, my love.
I thought now it was more appropriate than ever because obviously we've all been so very focused on our health and well-being during lockdown, and perhaps more than ever, we can all empathise with those that you've long been focused on, the people with special diets. So I think, our one big question for you today is how has the pandemic impacted the in-flight special meal offering, and what should airlines really be focused on in this sector of the market?
As you've probably read yourself, if you're wanting a special meal on board aircraft at the moment or flying at the moment, you'd be very lucky to find one. I think there are some airlines outside the UK who are offering this still, but at the moment, if you get an apple on a flight, you'll be a lucky person. I kid you not. I follow quite a number of the celiac blogs and special diet blogs because obviously it's my area of special interests. And the number of people who show their little plastic polythene bag showing their apple and their banana, if they're lucky, or a chocolate bar, or 11-hour flight, that's not a good thing.
No.
So some of what's been done has been pretty poor. However, that wasn't just for them. They reduced the offer for everybody. But at least the other people could have a sandwich or could have a dessert perhaps or something like that. But for special diets, there hasn't been a lot available. That's changing. So the offer in some airlines is coming back. Still with our national carrier, there's nothing available. So that may change as things progress. But I think for airlines, it's an unknown at the moment. We don't know how busy they're going to be or how quiet they're going to be. So we have been innovating and putting together some options which remove the need for multiple visits to the passenger. So a one-box solution which they can hand to the passenger in all classes, so economy, business first, even the private jet market, in fact. So it's more like a picnic box, some with a hot meal as well, some without.
And why do you think that is it just the unknown element that people have, that it's been such a problem during COVID? Is it just the fact that as they're starting to rebuild, that's just at the end of the queue, or what's the problem with special meals? Why is it so difficult?
I think it's not the priority. I think that in the kitchens that provide the food for them, in the big companies that you can probably think about, they don't have the people that they had before. They're all on furlough. So the people who were dedicated to do those special meals just aren't there anymore.
Right.
They generally have a small section of their kitchens which are dedicated to doing the special meals, and those people aren't there. And they just don't have the options readily available, either frozen or otherwise, from suppliers available or organised enough to get to them.
Right.
We are working with some airlines to do that now, which is great. And starting from next week, that will be delivered. And I think those things will change, and people are really looking at the solutions that they need to have throughout their networks. I hope, we all hope this never ever happens again. But we're still living in this pandemic, so there's still a requirement, and people with special meal requirements are 20% roughly of most flights going out,
and they still need to eat.
They still need to eat, yeah. When I wrote my thing to you, which was saying about people get very hangry, because you don't prepare in advance necessarily for flight. So you've got your bag, you might put a packet of Twiglets in or crisps in or something, but you don't really think ahead. Oh, I might not get anything from my 11-hour flight or my 5-hour flight, and it's disappointing when you've got nothing and you're pretty hungry, and it's not good. And I think there has to be some consideration for the provision of people with special dietary requirements, and particularly with diabetics, because diabetics obviously, will have sugar spikes or can be quite ill if they don't eat at regular intervals and control their insulin levels. So we have worked hard to create ketogenic food around that, and that's been part of our innovation latterly.
And presumably, I think we've talked in the past about, the possibility for one type of meal to be suitable for a lot of different dietary needs. It doesn't actually, they don't have to have a huge range, do they? I know we've got a lot of special needs codes, but special meal codes, but you don't have to, they can cross-fertilise, as it were.
They can. I think within 2 or 3 quite simple solutions, they can cover pretty much all of the bases, and that's what we do. I mean, all of our meals, every single meal we produce is gluten-free, nut-free, and sesame-free. Then there are other things that you have to, obviously, you have vegans, but vegans can quite happily a vegetarian meal if the vegan meal is good. Meat-wise, you have to be quite careful on which one you choose, so that will fit all of the different religious groups. So if you're having a religious meal, if you go for a vegan meal, you're covered. That is an option, at least. Our meals are generally dairy-free as well, so that's regardless of whether they're meat or vegan. So you can.
It is possible. Yeah.
It is totally possible. Yeah. To do that.
Yeah.
With very simple.
And we've heard a lot, talking to other people in this pandemic, and people starting to come back. There has been quite a bit of conversation about pre-ordering and sort of in-flight retail providing some of the solutions for food and beverage. I mean, is that something you think will work for special meals as well? That could help solve the problem?
Absolutely, if those things were available in the airports, but they're not. And the kind of things that are available are generally just ambient, long life snacks. And actually, if you want, something like a salad or a sandwich or which is free from, those things are fewer and fewer between. There's so few of them to choose from. I definitely think I have always felt pre-order is the solution for all classes, regardless of special meal or otherwise, going forward, because then you're pretty much guaranteed to get what you order.
Yeah.
And it's totally possible in this day and age that when you book your flight, you choose your meal at the same time, and therefore that's what you get when you get on a plane.
It's got to happen.
Oh, absolutely. It would save all that wastage, all of those things that we've talked about many times before. I think it would be the ideal solution, and we should innovate a system for that.
Yeah.
Order your food, special meal before you fly. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. And well, I think we in talking to you, we must talk about food, because obviously you're a chef and we all love talking about food. So tell us a few sort of amazing special meal options that you've been developing, and what you think is trending in the special meals arena for any airline that really wants to start impressing their free-from passengers. What sort of things should they be coming up with?
Well, I think you've got to get down with the kids a bit more. I mean, the meals that are offered certainly in the vegan or plant-based arena, which is how veganism is now termed mostly, are kind of traditional, usually pasta with a sauce, kind of simple things. But actually, you would far prefer something a bit more on trend. Like we've done a vegan burger, which has a kimchi slaw at the bottom of it, and some vegan cheese. It's absolutely delicious in a gluten-free bun, which you'd never know. And we did that with some root chips, which are fantastic. We've got some dips with those. Gives you lots of things to do on your thing. They don't take loads of packaging, and it looks really cool as well. And the other thing we've been doing a lot of work on is ketogenic dieting. You've heard of keto, big thing, across the pond particularly, but here people are starting to be aware of it. And it's also a great diet for people who are diabetic, which is unknown. It's basically low carbohydrates, low glycemic index, and no sugar. So if you've been a couch potato for the last 3 months and not been working and might have put on a pound or two, it's the perfect diet. So we've discovered also in our learnings, there's this fantastic sweetener. Lots of people will have heard of it already. But it's called monk fruit. And it's 300 times sweeter than sugar, has 0 carbs and 0 effects on blood sugar levels for diabetics.
Right.
And you can literally swap out one for the other, which is what we're trying to do with all of our desserts. And you would not know. There's no aftertaste. There's no that horrible saccharine metallic taste you sometimes get if you have a Hermesitas or a Canderel or whatever it is. Sorry to those companies. But it's none of that aftertaste and all of the sweetness, and you don't feel guilty because you've had no calories. It's amazing.
Well, that sounds very encouraging and exciting. We look forward to trying some of those for sure. So I think just before we wrap up, obviously it is a difficult time for the industry, but sort of taking the long-term view, I know you're always optimistic, but do you feel optimistic sort of for the industry as a whole?
Absolutely, yeah. I think this has changed how we all look at life and how we all look at things. I think it has woken the consciousness of many people in terms of what we do. So we really have to make the effort to look at sustainability and things in a much more meaningful way. And I absolutely believe that. I think that that's what we'll do in the industry. People will think about those things. I think pre-order has its time to shine now, because people will realize that throwing all this stuff away now is just wrong. It's just wrong. And people will be so happy to buy and see their family and their friends and have their holidays again. We all are looking forward to it. But I think we'll be doing it in a much more measured way. I think it won't come back overnight, travel, in the way it was perhaps before. But it will come back. It will come back in a more considered way. And we've had all this time to think. We've had 3-4 months to think about how we can make that flight better for that passenger. And to not do so, therefore, would be a bit of a waste of that time.
Yeah.
And I think, expectations will be higher than ever when you fly. We'll be looking forward to it so much, so much longer.
Yeah.
So how exciting will it be when you get on that plane and that childhood memory of getting all those things on your plate and all those little things that made you smile. Think, oh, I'm going on holiday.
Yeah.
So I think that's what will come.
That's great, and the food is a massive part of that excitement, isn't it? When that comes, seeing what you've got, what they've come up with this time. However much people have knocked airline food in the past,
Absolutely.
They actually love it, don't they? Most of the
Absolutely.
time, So yeah, definitely, I'm with you. Looking forward to getting my first meal in front of me on an aircraft. That would be a pretty cool moment, won't it? So
I look forward to it.
Yeah, well, let's hope it's pretty soon and we can try some of these delicious things. I don't have a special diet, but I might just order some special meals anyway, just because they sound so great.
You should.
Yeah. So thanks a lot, Mark. It's great to talk to you, and good luck with it all. And hopefully we all can catch up in person very soon.
In person soon, yes.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.